Hey, you guys. I am back with a bonus episode. Bonus in honor of International Women's Month. I had seen something and I'm like, you know what? I had already had a bonus episode planned, but I'm like, why not today? Why not today? Let's ride, let's roll with it. And so today I'm bringing you guys our bonus episode of this great woman who has added value to the entertainment space through building narratives. And so let's get into it. What if literacy isn't just about reading books? What if literacy is about learning how to shape stories that shape the world? Some of the most powerful voices in modern culture aren't just politicians or scientists. They are story architects, people who understand how narratives influence how millions of people think, feel, and see themselves. The creator behind some of the most influential television stories of the last 2 decades. One of these architects, her name is Shonda Rhimes. She is the creator behind Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, Bridgerton, just to name a few. But before the awards, the Hollywood deals, and the global audience, Shonda Rhimes was a child who loved books, a child who learned something powerful very early, that stories give people a voice. And literacy is the foundation that makes storytelling possible. Today's principle is how literacy builds narrative power. Welcome back to The Reset. All right, so trying to get this screen together up here. Yes, let's get into Shonda's story. Shonda Rhimes grew up in Chicago in a home where reading was normal and expected. Her mother was a professor. Her father worked in university administration. Books were everywhere. But what sets Shonda apart wasn't just reading. It's how she interacted with stories. She didn't just consume stories, she analyzed them. She wondered, why do characters make certain choices? Why do some stories move people emotionally? Why do certain narratives stay with us long after they end? That curiosity eventually led her to study writing and film. And while Hollywood is filled with talented people, Rhimes brought something specific: narrative intelligence. Her shows didn't just entertain, they built complex character systems, emotional arcs, and layered social themes. Shows like Grey's Anatomy became global phenomena because not just because it had a hospital setting, but because of the human stories inside of them. And later, shows like Scandal explored power, morality, and leadership through narrative. And Bridgerton demonstrated how storytelling could reshape historical narratives for modern audiences. Millions of people watch these stories, but few people ask the deeper questions. How does someone develop the ability to create stories that influence culture? The answer begins with literacy. All right. Now, there's always some hidden principle that we can take away from our stories and our leaders or influencers. And this one here is Literacy builds narrative thinkers. Narrative thinking is the ability to understand human motivation, connect events into meaningful sequences, explore complex emotions, and communicate ideas through story. Children who read widely encounter characters making difficult choices, conflicts that require resolution, worlds with rules and consequences, and perspectives different from their own. Every story they read became a mental model of human behavior. Over time, the brain begins to understand something profound. Stories are systems, characters, motivations, consequences, transformation. This is why literacy doesn't just build readers, it builds story architects, people capable of influencing culture through narrative. Shonda Rhimes didn't just learn to read, she learned how stories work. And that ability gave her one of the most powerful tools in modern media. I love what she has been able to do with her career and presence. And I was taken in a story about her life where, you know, something happened with some passes for her family to Disney based on her contract with ABC. And because there was this I don't want to say this issue, for lack of a better word, a situation that took place the same day that they were not trying to help her and this family member who was at Disney, she decided, you know what? I don't even have to go through this. I'm going to take me, myself, my value elsewhere. And she called Netflix. And with that deal with Netflix, she even got a bigger deal than what she had at ABC. And after making ABC a couple $1 billion through her shows. And so, of course, something that's practical that we can add to our lives here is this. So, what does it mean for parents raising readers? It means literacy development should include story awareness, not just decoding words. Here are 3 simple ways to nurture narrative thinkers. 1, ask the story questions. We go over this all the time. After reading, ask, why did the character make that choice? What could they have done differently? What do you think happens next? These questions develop narrative reasoning. 2, encourage storytelling. Children should not only just read stories, they should create them. Let them write short stories, invent characters, build imaginary worlds, retell stories in their own words. Story creation strengthens literacy in many powerful ways. Next, talk about character motivations. When children understand why characters act, they develop empathy and insight. This builds emotional intelligence, communication skills, and narrative comprehension. I would even add that it's something to think about too when we're asking children to sequence things, right? To look at how are these events taking place. Well, maybe we start off happy and then we transition to something sad and then we transition back to being feeling joyful or something like that. To go through those different emotions is to help build a story archetype as well. And it's going to not only layer that character, but layer the story in depth because it's taking the reader on a journey through your child's writing. When which when these things are all connected, you are allowing the child to basically build strong literacy development. Here's the shift that some of us will need to make. The most important shift here is that you're not just raising readers, you are raising story thinkers, children who learn to read deeply, gain access to something powerful, the ability to understand human narratives, and the ability to tell stories that influence others. Some of those children may become writers, filmmakers, teachers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Because leadership itself is often about shaping a narrative. Shonda Rhimes shows us that literacy can lead up to something remarkable. The power to influence how millions of people see the world. She also allowed for insight of someone else's story to be shared through their work, through their family, through their journey, through their leadership. If this episode encouraged you, here's something simple you can do today. Read a story with your child, then ask them one question. Why do you think the character made that choice? That angled and singled question activates narrative thinking. And narrative thinking is one of the most powerful forms of literacy because stories shape culture. And literacy gives children the ability to participate in that shaping. If you're enjoying the Literacy Reset series, please subscribe and share this episode with another parent or educator. Because when we strengthen literacy, we strengthen the voices that will shape the future. I hope that you have enjoyed this bonus episode. Let me make sure before we really close out that I invite you to join our school community, the R4S Homeschool Studio, where I'm sharing tips and insights, helping with lesson planning and building and architecting the homeschool that fits your family. Also, I have the Roadmap Intensive. Again, that will be coming up. Please stay tuned and follow the channel as the announcement will come here first for when I reopen the next cohort. Inside the cohort, or I will tell you there are options, but I'm going to say inside the cohort, a group of us will be working to architect your child's school year and build it around their learning styles, their interests, the skills that they need to focus and master, the areas of struggle, and all of the things in between. I cannot wait for our cohort to begin. And with that being said, again, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for spending some time with me today. And I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. I will see you tomorrow with our next leader. Have a great one and talk to you guys soon. Bye.